in this week's episode of The Rich Get Richer and Make Excuses for It, Scott Bessent, the Secretary of Treasury, went to a hearing at the House of Representatives, and let's just say it didn't go well.
We have seen since January 20th that the stock market overall has gone down 1.3%, and gas has gone up.
Ma'am, that's incorrect.
Excuse me. Let me get something straight with you first here. I've seen you interrupt everyone. When you come to someone's house, you respect their rules. And in this house, we don't interrupt individuals. And you're not going to interrupt my time. I'm going to give you time to respond. You may want to jot down some notes about things that you don't agree with me on so that you can respond to them at that time. But while I'm speaking, as the person holding this time, you will refrain from speaking, sir, until I am done.
I look forward to responding.
And then I will give you time to speak, okay?
Look forward to facts.
Thank you. I'll look forward to your response, whether they're factual or incorrect either.
That was Congresswoman Plaskett holding his feet to the fire, and you saw him. I look forward to answering with the facts. Yeah. Good luck, buddy. Your facts seem to be made up. And it didn't go well from there.
Markets have reacted positively is when the administration is in retreat from key policy areas. I want to say, given your successful past, isn't this embarrassing?
Is there a question there, sir?
There's a question. Isn't this embarrassing?
Oh, is it embarrassing? Well, I'm sorry, Congressman, but you seem not to have seen the economic data. The GDP growth has been quite substantial. Job growth is solid.
GDP growth is half what it was last year, sir.
The job growth is solid. And we had
job growth is a third what it was all last year, sir.
No.
Yeah, this guy's getting grilled. That was Congressman Bayer fact-checking him in real time, and he didn't seem to know what's going on in America with the economy right now, and it kept going.
Let me just ask this. Why is this bill designed to take away some of the benefits that you claim people are going to have? They expire, like the senior tax credit expires, all of these things that these families are supposed to get. If you're so into uplifting their needs, why do they expire?
No tax on tips?
No tax on tips expires.
Sorry?
It expires. And it's not really a decrease on tax on tips.
If you would like to join me and making it permanent and have your Democratic
you're
the
secretary. You're the secretary, sir. You wrote the budget.
We would welcome you to join us.
Excuse me?
We would welcome you to join us.
I'm ready to join you right now. Are you going to accept an amendment?
And that was Congresswoman Moore reminding him, dude, you wrote the budget. You're saying it's our fault? You wrote the budget that takes away these benefits for the elderly, that takes away eventually the taxes on the tips, the tax break on the tips. Basically what's going on here, folks, let's step back and look at Scott Bessent. Scott Bessent is a successful businessman. He's a hedge fund guy, multi-millionaire, made a lot of money, and Donald Trump made him the Secretary of Treasury, thinking that, well, this guy seems smart, he's good with money, he'll be fine. And then what happened was when Donald Trump decided to do the tariffs, they sent Scott Bessent out to defend them. And there's really no defending the tariffs because we've seen, let me just show you a few things that have happened with the tariffs. First of all, the number one thing that happened with the tariffs was that the stock market crashed. Now, it's come back up somewhat, but when it crashed, a lot of people who needed their money at that time, who had 401ks and other investments, they lost a lot of money. And then we saw that famously, Donald Trump's friends who had money to buy the stocks at a sale price made a lot of money. He even brought Charles Schwab into the Oval Office and said, this guy made a couple $2 billion. So they're making money right in front of our eyes. Marjorie Taylor Greene supposedly knew when the stock market was going to go back up, and she bought it low and she made some money. So definitely some insider trading going on here. Definitely market manipulation. Trump keeps saying tariffs are on, tariffs are off. 150% tariffs, 50% tariffs, just back and forth. And the market's been going like this. And the problem when the market goes like this is businesses don't like it because businesses don't know how to plan 6 months ahead. They got to put their orders out. Am I going to be able to get my materials I need for whatever it is that I do? Or should I wait? Are the prices going to double and triple? We don't know. And so Scott Bessent had to go to this hearing here at the Ways and Means Committee, and they would question him, and this guy has to famously just try to spin, and pretend like the tariffs are working. They have not worked. So far, they said that, if you remember, they said they're going to get 90 deals in 90 days. Well, We don't have no 90 deals. We have one kind of deal with England. They're talking to China. We'll see what happens. But already a lot of stuff that was better off is now worse off because Donald Trump got it in his thick head that we should do tariffs to equalize the deficit, the trade deficit we have with other countries. And all of this, folks, was done because they want to say, the Republican Party wants to say that tariffs are going to pay the taxes that we need to run our country. And therefore, if we get tariffs that's going to make, bring in more revenue, then they can pass their big, beautiful bill, which is a big, beautiful bill that's going to give huge tax breaks to the wealthy and take away a lot of benefits, including Medicare for people who need it. And so once again, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And so here's the other thing to think about. This is what Scott Bessent will not admit to. On the one hand, the administration is saying that tariffs are going to bring in money to pay for taxes. On the other hand, they're saying that tariffs are a negotiating tool to get these other countries to work in a way so that we can start bringing manufacturing back to America. We want to bring our Apple plants to America. So if we're able to bring those plants back to America, then there's no tariffs. We're not tariffing because we're making it here. There's no tariffs. So suddenly that income that they said that they're going to have, they no longer have. So it's all very logical if you look at it. Even there was one of these nonpartisan departments that looked at what could come and go with the tariffs and what's going on with this big, beautiful bill and the national debt and what it's going to do. The big, beautiful bill is going to add several trillions of dollars to the national debt. And again, this nonpartisan group said that the tariffs, if they were to stay in place, would bring money to the U.S. However, the Trump administration is saying that the tariffs are just a negotiating tool to be able to bring manufacturing here, right? And then the other thing to think about, folks, is if the tariff stayed in place, 50% tariffs, do you think that these other countries are just going to pay them and be like, you know what, don't worry about it, we'll pay it, you guys are fine? No, they're going to increase the prices of their products, and those products end up in our stores, and we pay for the tariffs. So once again, the poor lose and the rich win. So that's where you have Scott Bessent, this guy who's completely out of touch. He's out there throwing around a lot of mumbo jumbo. If you recall early on when the tariffs were really hitting hard, the stock market was suffering. Bonds were indicating that these tariffs are hurting the economy. Scott Bessent did an interview where he said something along the lines of, well, this is Donald Trump's negotiation tactics. This is a zero-sum game. He's playing them. He's not going to tell them what he's going to do. Donald Trump's a genius. Donald Trump bankrupted casinos. Takes a real talent to bankrupt casinos. Just in case we got a review, folks, Donald Trump's dad gave him all his money. He lost that money. Then he was just floundering for a bit. And then Mark Burnett, the producer of The Apprentice, came along and hired him and made him, this guy who made a lot of money off of that. And this guy who America thinks is a successful businessman, and he's really not. The art of the deal should be the art of the grift. He's a great grifter, he's a great marketer, but he's not a smart business person. And one more thing to remember, these tariffs, one of the proponents of the tariffs was Peter Navarro, who is an advisor to Trump, who is also someone who's critical of China. And he wrote a book where he talked about putting tariffs on China and how it's good to put tariffs on China. He had an economist in that book that was saying it's good to put tariffs on China because that will bring us to a level playing field with China. And he kept quoting this economist. His name was Ron Vera. And it turns out Ron Vera was not a real economist. It was a made-up economist. So this guy wrote a book and made up the fact that tariffs are good. And then Donald Trump went along with him. And now we're in this situation where businesses don't know what to do. And Scott Bessent has to go and defend the undefendable. By the way, Peter Navarro, Ron Vera, that was just an anagram of Peter Navarro's name. He made up in his own book an economist that said tariffs are good, and he didn't have the creativity to come up with a fake name. He just took his own name and he made an anagram. So it's all kind of comedic, but it's also disastrous. The world economy right now is starting to realize that they can't depend on America. And what's going to happen is a lot of these European countries are going to start having alliances with other countries, and they're going to be going away from America. A lot of these other countries that now are faced with tariffs with America, they're going to start doing business with each other. So America loses once again. And they continue to do stuff. They're attacking the universities. What's that going to do? That's going to make it so that international students who are brains, who usually come to America, get their degrees, and quite often stay here and innovate, they'll be gone. So really, in the long run, folks, China wins. Because in this tariff, they thought that they were going to manhandle everybody. There was zero thought given to it. He just threw out a bunch of, everybody gets tariffed. Remember he tariffed that island with the penguins, right? And now he's got the nickname, Donald Trump. Taco. Trump always caves in. No, Trump always, I keep forgetting what taco is. Trump always chickens out. Trump always chickens out. And now Scott Bessent is a chicken with his head cut off over there in Congress, just lying and being told, no, dude, your facts are not right. You're just making up facts. So if you look at it, folks, the economy was supposed to get better, and it looks like Donald Trump has brought us to the brink of a recession. And that's another reason why they're doing all these immigration raids, because it distracts from his failed economic policy. And meanwhile, the Republican Party continues to push through this big, beautiful bill that is going to be a disaster for many, many Americans, middle class, lower class, and the upper class. The billionaires will win. So congratulations to Scott Bessent. He'll get richer while the rest of us get poorer. Guys, I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I've got a channel right here on YouTube. Check it out. Give it a follow. Let me know you came from Rebel HQ. And keep reminding people that this administration is grifting. They're grifting. The tariffs are a grift. The big, beautiful bill is a grift. The Art of the Grift by Donald Trump.